Welcome to the Pickleball Guru's newest webinar. I'm Randy Manaply, and I'm here with the original traveling pickleball coach and author of two best-selling books, Smart Pickleball and Drop Shot Till You Drop.
Hello, Guru Nation.
This webinar is all about what the pros do and what they know. In other words, what you can learn from the pros. So let's get the boring one out of the way real quick, Prem, with number one. They drill a lot. How much drilling did you do when you started out with pickleball?
I would probably say around about 4 hours a day, just purely drilling. That's probably it. I played around about 10 hours, but at least 4 hours of drill.
So you were on the courts for 14 hours a day?
No, 10 hours.
10 hours a day,
6.
4 of it drilling, 6 of it actually playing time.
That's right.
And at boot camp, I believe you tell a drilling story about how you and another pro did cross-court dinks seemingly endlessly to 200 dinks in a row before the ball actually went live, and you played a game like that to 11.
Yes, it was one of those fun experiences where you drill so long that you get you get endurant, and as well as you get really consistent with your dinks. It definitely got me very endurant and definitely got me very consistent. And it was a pretty long game for 4 hours because it's sort of a dinking game, which means that once you're off, if the ball is away from that kitchen line, then it means that we had to restart over again. No matter where it went, even if it was a 199th ball, then we had to restart over again so that we got consistent. So it was a fun game, but it was definitely very, very challenging at the beginning, but it became very seamlessly easy later on.
And I think you mentioned now you've done so much drilling in the past. I don't know whether you want to admit this or not, but you don't do that much drilling nowadays because you've got all that muscle memory down and everything.
That's very true. Not that I would recommend that you don't drill at all, but just because of my scheduling and my work time, I just don't get a lot of time to drill as I used to in the past. So I generally tend to not drill as intensely as I used to, but I do use my recreational play time as my drilling time.
And that's a good segue to some pros actually don't drill all that much because they have other careers. And here I'm referring to Matt Wright and Lucy Kovalova, super great players, but with limited time that they can just get out and drill. I think Matt's a corporate attorney somewhere in Kansas. For personal reasons, a lot of places and schedules and limited court time certainly impacts drilling time. So what do you recommend for the players that can't get any drilling time on the courts?
Well, that's a really good question. What do you do when you don't really have a lot of time in your day to be able to drill? And as you mentioned, some of these players, most of the times they would use either they would try and set up a game with other players who are their ilk and try and practice with them while playing. But if they don't, even during whoever they are playing with, even if it is not at, someone to their level, they would use those occasions to really practice on the types of shots they want to really keep drilling on, irrelevant of the score. They won't really focus on winning. They'll be focusing on using that opportunity to say, like, I'm going to hit a drop shot in this particular area, or I'm going to drive down this particular area. So they would just keep practicing it during even recreational play. And something I do definitely recommend people coming to my boot camp to always use recreational play sometimes. Not always the players of the same level, but at least players of, even go down to a level lower than they are, whatever level they are, and just use that as an occasion to practice the shots they want to practice.
In other words, like if you're playing lower level players, don't go out trying to win the game by smashing the ball and showing everyone what a great overhead you have. but instead maybe try to work on your soft game against players like that.
That's right. That's exactly what I was mentioning. Thanks for clarifying. Right.
Mm-hmm. Now let's move on to number 2. Pros hit to the middle. Now you'll see a smattering of Ernies and ATPs, but tell us why the pros hit to the middle so often, Prem.
There's a good reason because, as someone told me, good things happen in the middle. Actually, it was a friend from Kansas who told me that. Um, there's a good reason because there's a lot of safety and security in hitting in the middle. Outside the fact that it creates confusion. Um, yes, there are some fancy shots here and there, but you know, most of the times the players will target the middle because there's a lot of safety in it. In fact, I've watched some of the recent matches of Ben Johns, and even though he might hit a few shots down the line or do some ATPs, but I think 90% of his balls are always hit in the middle. And let me be very clear, when I say middle, it's the middle of the two opponents and not middle of the court.
Exactly. And quickly moving on to number 3, they keep them back. And I remember seeing a post on Facebook with Simone and Lucy against the Waters, and it was a 20-plus shot rally, and the Waters are making great shots. But Lucy and Simone are just consistently keeping them pinned back near the baseline. They had the skills to do so. Why didn't Lucy and Simone try dropping the ball into the kitchen?
Oh, that would have been a really interesting perspective, considering the Waters are generally extremely aggressive. And if they brought the ball down really short, they would have come in and attacked that ball even further, which is not what they want to do. Playing from the baseline is a defensive game. You can hit aggressive shots from the baseline, but it's still a defensive shot. It's never going to be an offensive one because they really can't put it away from the baseline. You might get away with it 1 or 2 times, but most cases, it's not the case. And they don't want them to be. They don't want the Warriors to be invited to the offensive line, which is what I would call the kitchen line. So if they're not there, don't bring them there. And that's probably why Simone and Lucy try to keep them away from it, because they don't want to give them the advantage of being closer to the kitchen.
Yeah, in a lot of matches that I'll see, they'll have them pinned back, and then all of a sudden they'll drop the ball into the kitchen, and I'll say, okay, they're going to lose that point because they dropped the ball into the kitchen. Because the fact is, on a number of pro matches, everyone's just so quick. And they're quick to the ball, and they can recognize when it's going to be a drop. And so they're already up there for it.
That's right. And as I said, once you are at the kitchen line, it becomes the attacking ball. And at the pro level, it doesn't matter if it's a senior pro or the young, the full-on open pros. Both ways, either way, almost all of them are really good athletes, and they'll come right quickly to the kitchen line if you give them the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, generally I say when you have the opportunity to drop the ball like that, when your opponents are back, I say there's 5 possible outcomes, and 4 of them are bad. So you certainly want to play the percentages. And also keeping them back, the line I like is that instead of don't invite them to the party, instead of don't invite them to the kitchen, don't invite them to the party.
Yes, I always call it the party line.
Yeah. And most parties end in the kitchen, so you don't want to invite them into the party or the kitchen.
That's right.
So we're about halfway through the webinar. So if you want to know all the secrets about the pros and apply all this, I would encourage you to come out to a clinic and or a boot camp. We do read your comments. So at the end of the webinar, I'll put up more information about what you get out of the boot camp, but I'll quickly mention that Tucson 1 is sold out, but there's space in the Tucson 2 boot camp. That's over the weekend of Halloween, and you'll be in Turks and Caicos in December, but that's sold out. And then in January, there's Zephyr Hills near Tampa with 1 spot open, and there's 2 camps in Vero Beach, Florida that's starting to fill up. The list price is $19.97. We have a discount of $14.97 if you use coupon code webinar. And if you're coming with a partner, email me at randy@thepickleballguru.com to get an extra $150 off per person. Coming with more, I'll even get you a bigger discount. Just shoot me an email in case you're interested. And now back to the program. And I believe we're up to number 4. Pros are always ready. What does ready mean, Prem?
Well, they're always going to be anticipating and being ready for a ball, which means that not only they keep their paddle up, but they're always anticipating where the ball is going to travel to. They have cues, and I've already mentioned this in my books in the past about how to read a cue. It's about anticipating where their shoulders are lining up, or how they're going to hit a shot, if they're going to hit down the line, in the middle, or to the crosscourt. They anticipate it and get ready, and are ready for any shot which is going to come to them. When I mean that, be it a dink or an attack, but they are always ready.
And like you said, when they're in the ready position, pros are also ready, and they're also always anticipating that someone will speed the ball up.
Yes, that is exactly right. They always are going to anticipate, because they are waiting for a firefight, as they call it, at the kitchen, especially. So they are always going to be ready for that particular ball, which is going to come at them fast. So they try and do everything impossible to avoid that, and so anticipate every shot to be an attacking ball.
And these are pro level matches, mind you. So tell us the stat on the team that speeds up the ball first. In other words, the one team is anticipating that it's going to be sped up, and then the other team decides, okay, I'm going to go ahead and speed this ball up and attack.
Mm-hmm.
What's the stat on the team that speeds the ball up and attacks?
There was a recent stat around some of this. I think it was at the U.S. Open. They took up all the matches of the pro matches, men's doubles, mixed doubles, women's doubles, and same with the senior pros. And they did stats around how many third balls were hit, dropped, and how many were driven, how many were down the line, how many ATPs, how many earnings. They did a whole bunch of stats around it. But one of the statistic which was very interesting was it, as you said, the team which sped up the ball, or started an attacking shot, lost 80% of the time. So that was a huge stat, at least to tell you that that's not the most possible avenue you want to start with. You don't really attack unless there's a clear opening. There's no real reason to attack. So that tells you that you don't really want to speed up the ball and wait for the opportunity to put it to the way. But now, having said that, I've already said this many times, I'm a big proponent of being aggressive. But being aggressive does not forcefully mean that you had to smash every ball. Being aggressive for me is what I always call in the boot camp being a crouching tiger. As you would imagine, when a tiger is in the wild and it's about to attack its prey, it generally crouches, it waits patiently, it just crawls and waits till the opportune moment to attack its prey. So it's the same way. I want you to be the tiger on the court. The crouching time is probably your setup, your slow game, your setup time, your volleys, whatever it is. You keep waiting for that opportunity to attack. So what does that opportunity mean, or an opportune moment mean? It could be your opponent are not ready, or your opponents are out of position. That is when you want to attack. You don't want to attack when they are locked and ready and waiting for you. That doesn't make any. It would probably, the outcome of that would be probably not a favorable one to you. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. You're kind of burying the lead on me here for number 5, which is a pros attack when appropriate. And you kind of talked about the crouching tiger method of when to attack, but when appropriate, you just kind of talk about out of position and stuff like that. I want you to get a little more specific into what type of ball you want to attack. And specifically, I want you to talk about the red light, yellow light, and green light system for attacking.
Definitely, but this is definitely the red, green, and yellow is not something which I know. I mean, I know of, but I don't. It was someone who from someone from the coaching team who be teaching how to use this word. Red light is basically a ball which is beneath the net, which is traveling. You're trying to attack from a ball which is coming underneath. I mean, which is lower to the net. That's it's a no. It's really you're probably sure that that ball is unattackable. Really, to try and attack a ball which is low is a red light. Then the orange light is probably a ball which is traveling parallel to the ground, just barely over the net. Again, which is about your waist high, and trying to attack the ball from that distance, from that area is, it goes both ways, but it's a risky shot. I mean, yes, in the pro level, you would probably see them use that ball as a roll with a lot of topspin underneath it, but it's a much riskier shot generally to try and attack from a red zone. Then the green light is obviously a little bit more higher, close to your shoulder height, and then that means that you're putting that ball downwards, which is the perfect time to attack a ball. When you're attacking the ball, when you're hitting it downwards rather than hitting it upwards. So the one you're hitting beneath the net is always going to be hitting upward motion, and even the ones which are coming about your waist high is still not really. It's in between phase of either you hit it high or you hit it down, depending on the range or the height. Maybe you, Randy, with your height, you might probably be able to hit that one as a green one, but generally, I would think that most players will not be able to reach that ball and hit it downwards. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the yellow light, that's kind of that gray area in between that you may want to think twice about attacking on something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones where rec players seem to put in the net more often than not.
Yeah, for sure. So yes, absolutely. Once the ball is high, any ball which you can hit downwards can become an attacking ball. But any balls which you're hitting upwards or are possibly going to hit upwards is probably a no-no. It's probably not a ball you want to attack.
So you mentioned that Dave Weinbach very rarely initiates the attack. Discuss why this is so and why he does what he does.
Again, he's a tiger out there. He's definitely the tiger, even though he goes by the badger. He's definitely a tiger at the court, well, meaning he definitely does not start a firefight, but he's anticipating, he's waiting for you to start off a battle, and if you do so, he will definitely punish you with very strongly. He loves to attack when you give them the opportunity to do so. Even though of lately I've seen his game evolve a little bit more in terms of attacking, he still remains someone who consistently keep the ball in play and always anticipate for an attacking ball. And generally, most of his opponents will never try and start an attacking ball against him because they know that he's waiting ready and absolutely ready to pounce on anything you're going to give him. So definitely a good role model for knowing what he does when he does.
Excellent. So it's getting cooler out. So if you're tired of all those possible cracked balls that you're going to have, consider the core pickleball. It's fast and built to last and will certainly last you a lot longer, especially when you're out playing in like those 30 to 40 degree temps out there for those up north that are still playing on outdoor courts. You can use coupon code GURU15 for 15% off. Is there any other tips that you'd like to pass on that the pros might use that some rec players could benefit from here, Prem?
Um, uh, before that, let me just come back to the whole core ball thing. I'm just coming back from Wyoming, where last year I had recommended them to use the core balls, and a lot of the players who played there told me how during the cold weather how consistent that ball was, and it didn't break. So I definitely would recommend you to use those balls. They don't crack, they don't change shapes, and it's pretty consistent. In terms of rating, I would say they rank between a Dura and a Franklin, so they're right in between. They're not as pricey as the other competitors out there, and they're also very reliable in that way. And they have all the play of a Dura and the Franklin in it. So definitely recommend you to go for the core balls. As far as other tips goes, outside the playtime, one of the important things I would definitely recommend for most recreational players is definitely hydrating themselves well. Definitely do hydrate yourself as much as possible, because you don't understand sometimes how important that part is in terms of preparations, so that you're actually well hydrated. In fact, our partner Jigsaw Health has some really good hydration drinks, the Pickleball cocktail. In fact, a lot of our pro athletes will tell you how important it is to really, like, half an hour to an hour before the matches start, they definitely go with your Pickleball cocktail and make sure that they're well hydrated before they get onto the court. And then just drink a lot of that Electrolyte Supreme, which is another drink which is good during the match play. And once the matches are over and during the evening, they use a magnesium suit, which is an absolutely wonderful way to, so that you don't really cramp, especially for older recreational players. It's good to know that you don't really cramp at night. I've not that experience, but I do have heard from many of my students that how much it was hard for them to, like, in the middle of the night, they would have these very serious cramps. As recently as last week, or a couple of weeks ago in Denver, there was one of the students who was cramping and said that had used that and felt instant relief from that particular cramp and slept well all through the night after that. So definitely something which you want to do: hydrate, make sure that you're well hydrated, and use as much as possible during a recreational time, at least an early first half hour before you actually go into playtime, to use those recreational play as a possibility of focusing on drilling, at least taking one particular aspect of the game and making sure that you try to hone on it. If it is a drop shot, if it is if it's a serve motion, or it's return of serve, or you want to particularly focus on a particular area of where you want to put your ball, the volleys away, or dinks. Just take one aspect of it and keep practicing it. That's what I would suggest.
Okay, perfect. Stick around. We're going to have some more information on boot camp. In other words, what you'll get out of boot camp, as well as what participants say about their experiences at boot camp. And I'll have links to everything down below, including for Jigsaw Health and Core Pickleball, as well as our boot camp information and clinics. Now that's all I have. Anything else from you, Prem?
Well, as I always say, I'll repeat it one more time. Just go have fun on the pickleball court. And remember, it's only pickleball.
It's been wonderful. I liked the coaching, I liked the people, I liked the one-on-one. I see the court in a different way now. It's been very good. I can tell you, I have done other boot camp, or not boot camps, but other pickleball things. What I like about this best is the small number. You know, the small number, because you get that more one-on-one attention. There's more interaction with him playing on the court with you and telling you where to be and how to see the strategy and the breakdown of the court. Don't get that in the larger ones. You know, I've been at boot camps where there have been, you know, a lot of people, and yeah, they have a lot of different coaches, but they're floating around, and sometimes you're getting help and sometimes you're not. So this was very good.
So as I said before, as a fundamental part of my teaching is do everything and anything which buys you time. So if someone is hitting you a fast ball, you have little time to react to it. So that's one of the reasons why you dink, because you give yourself more time so that you're waiting for your opponent to make the mistake.
Tell them to definitely do it. I think it will improve your game. You'll get a lot of individual attention, and I'd do it again.
I would highly recommend it.
I would say sign up, because he makes it very easy, it's low-keyed, and there's no tension among the other people, no rivalry, it's all camaraderie.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely do it. I would say do it. The one-on-one, the intimacy, it's very good. We really do learn things.
Coach-student ratio is terrific.
Yeah, well, and he teaches certain things until you get it. You know what I mean? Very good.
I would tell them to definitely do it. That I love the personal attention. There's only 8 players, and so you get a lot of one-on-one instruction and focus. So definitely sign up.
Well, today funny that I got stopped by 3 strangers for about 20 minutes. And I keep telling them I have to go to the bathroom, but they want to know about it, and they said they've been watching, and I told them that if they really enjoy pickleball and they want to be better, and I also expressed to them that I have joined other clinics, but this is the one clinic that I feel that I am going to improve and really going to step up to the next level, because it's more of a mind game. So that's what I take away from it, and I did recommend that they should read the book. And they said, yeah, we already took down the website from the banners on there. I said, absolutely. I said, read on the book on Amazon and then decide for yourself, because that's what my sister and I did. We read the book and we decided the camp would be good for us. Just wanted to say thank you. You guys go above and beyond to make sure that our every need, not just learning about pickleball, but also, our daily meals, the lunch, you pay to every little details. Whatever we need, you guys have it and ready. So we really appreciate that very much.
Just keep on keeping on, because it's wonderful.